So I guess my last one for you is a question I'm sure you're asked by everybody. So let me just chime in. I was kind of cutting around the edges. You think you got a football season? Because I mean, there's no.
I do at this point.
You do. Okay.
I think we've laid a foundation to make it possible, and that's the responsibility right now. The reality is, we're learning something every day, and I've learned that there are people whose day jobs are as biostatisticians. I did not know the title existed before all of this. Who help clarify things. I don't watch a lot of the media. I don't consume as much media as I do in opinions and perspectives and models, but I try to ask those who are in the scientific world around our campuses, those in the medical world, how do we look at the future ahead? And, Rich, the reality is we can prepare. We want to make sure that we're ready, and we're going to learn if the circumstances around this virus will allow us to do so, and that relates to following public health guidance, our players, our coaches, our staffs taking personal responsibility, candidly, our fans taking responsibility to follow the health guidance that's been provided.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, because I imagine if you have fans in the stands, you're going to require masks to be worn, right?
We haven't made that decision, and you learn a little bit about the inside versus outside spread. And again, I'm not an immunologist or infectious disease specialist, so everybody's going to critique this. But we're in the learning process, and we've seen mass gatherings around the protests that have happened, and so those are learning experiences, as I understand, for people in the scientific and medical world. I'm not going to tell you that's the basis for us moving forward, but all of this learning, because research is usually done over years and decades, and we're talking weeks and months, which is why the feedback and the guidance changes. And that's part of the learning that needs to take place for us as well as our entire society.
And just in terms of knowing, have you targeted a number of tests that will be required for the SEC to play football? Is there a number?
No, we've not. In fact, one of the misnomers is our campuses actually are involved in testing. We didn't mandate testing,
right?
And this informs the answer because the availability and the nature of testing and the effectiveness of testing and accuracy of testing and timing of testing are all kind of this jumble of how do we move forward. That's one of those ongoing points of dialogue for our conference with our medical advisors and for all five, and I'd argue every one of the college conferences to talk about as it relates to how do we prepare for football. So we haven't talked about, we've talked generally about volume of testing, so that's the number, what's the right timing, what kind of tests might be available, and all of that is something that I think everybody's coming to grips with.
Okay. And I just put a button on it. So about a month from now, we should check in and see what's going on in terms of a go, no-go for an on-time 2020 college football season in the SEC.
Emphasis on about. How about emphasis on about? Because time is one of those issues that, as we know, keeps slipping away into the future. But at the same time, we're going to have to deal with present issues. So I've avoided putting a hard date. Mid-late July seems like a reality for us.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.